Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 22nd Lebanon City Council meeting, Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we'll move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Becky McClure. Present. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes? Would entertain a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, now we move on to department head reports. Before we get into these, if you are watching from home and would like to submit a comment via the text line, I'm going to read out the number now. That number is 765-335-2230. So if you have any comments, feel free to participate there, and those will be read into the record for you as well. First up is Police Department, Deputy Chief Bailey.
Good evening. During the time period of June 9th and today's date, the Lebanon Police responded to 629 calls for service. During that time, 7 people were arrested for the following crimes: 2 wanted on warrants, 1 operating while intoxicated, 2 for domestic battery, 1 for illegal consumption of alcohol by a minor, and 1 for possession of methamphetamine. During this time frame, we also had officers doing online trainings. Officer Aaron Carlson completed top operator remote pilot course through online by Dart Drones. Officer Carlson is a certified FAA drone pilot for the LPD. Captain Detective Amy Dickerson completed online training in victim-centered child exploitation investigations. And then crime scene Colleen Bradbury completed a course in elements of evidence management. We also held rifle training with qualifications during this time frame. And then we'd also completed online different trainings. We also want to remind the public, as summer is here, to be observant of pedestrians and bicyclists that are out and about. So watch your speeds in neighborhoods, watch them. We get a lot of complaints about speeding vehicles, so please watch your speeds, as we will have officers out patrolling, and they will pull you over and give you a warning maybe, but also ticket. And then as you visit the parks and the businesses, make sure that you take all your important goods and hide them somewhere in your car. We do have that occasional stop and break into cars, and so if you're hiding your stuff, maybe they won't do that. So.
Okay, thank you, Brad. Any questions for Brad from the board? Anything from the public? Okay, thanks, sir. Next up, Fire Department, Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. I have a very brief report tonight. Since the last Board of Works meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 121 emergency calls for service, logged 311 training hours, and performed 91 site and commercial inspections. Throughout the month of June, crews will be participating in dump tank operations training. This is to use in rural settings where hydrants aren't available. Firefighters Noah Rinker, Zach Ruark, Tyler Aguirre, and Jerry Seymour have completed their educational and practical requirements to be a ride-out officer. Ride-out officers are used when the captains and lieutenants are off, and these individuals are cleared to ride the officer seat. Those firefighters are exceeding expectation with their performance, and we couldn't be more proud of them. I mentioned during my last report, we have several firefighters completing state certifications that are going on online, and we're just working through those. But that's all I have to report this evening.
Thank you, Chief. Anything from the board? Any questions from the public? Thanks, sir. Next up, Parks Department, John Bessinger.
Good evening. We had a great opening week at Seashore Water Park. Hit the capacity a couple times Friday and again Saturday. And it's best to get there early, about 2:30 to 3, it's really packed, and we have to actually have people wait due to the social distancing and half capacity, which is 422. Everything's going very smooth. A lot of out-of-town guests. I get a report daily. I think I sent that to you, Mayor. About half of them, 200 people or so, are actually out-of-town guests, so it's well received. Anyway, everybody's doing a fine job there, putting a load on the clerk's department too, and appreciate all the help there. Playgrounds are now open, finally. Looking good, finally having kids back out on that playground. We recently installed new adult fitness equipment near the playgrounds. If you recall, Mayor, you called me about a year ago, and there was a gentleman that came by with a bunch of fitness equipment and dog park equipment and sent in my direction, and there you go. We have it installed finally. Looks really nice, well received. People get out there, and maybe you'll look like Chief Bats there if you want to get really serious about it. Yeah, that'll be a tough one, I tell you, the guns on that guy. Anyway, Let's Go Sports is hosting Tiny Rackets and Junior Rackets. That program filled up. We do that Monday evenings out at the Memorial Park at the tennis pickleball courts. Just be aware, they're there from 5 to 7:30. A lot of kids learning the game. Probably be a lot of pickleball players coming out of this too. And hopefully Joe LePage's tennis varsity will be stepping up. We'll be winning a lot of state championships. Swim lessons are going very well also. We have 50 children that are enrolled. We're about filled up on July, so I think there's a couple slots left for July. June is all full, obviously in full swing. Weather's holding up great for us. We had a rain day at the pool, by the way, and people stayed around, and we still had a very decent day, which is surprising. But there again, swim lessons, we have a few openings in July. Colonial Market Days will be held this year at Abner Longley Park. This is the second annual. There again on Saturday and Sunday, July 11th and 12th. Refer to their Facebook page. There again, it's Colonial Market Days for any information you need on that. Still in the planning stages for the 100th year celebration that we have. This will be obviously the Memorial Park's 100th year anniversary, also Rotary's 100th year anniversary. Going to team up. I think they're going to have an event there also. It's Friday, August 7th. We're going to have a band, night swimming, fireworks, and food, so it'll be a really nice event. The Daddy-Daughter Dance has been rescheduled tentatively to August 29th, hoping everything works, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will sell tickets to that also, but it's about full too. There again, we got to watch capacities. I think it's after July 4th it opens up, but you never know, so hopefully we will. Wanted to say also, if you drive down Camp Street and see two beautiful flower pots that was donated by Becky over there, appreciate that. They look really nice, and it's catching on. We just had a memorial bench that was put over, which is a very nice contribution to the parks over along Ulen, that walk that goes there, and the guy wants to put some flower pots and kind of copy you there. So I appreciate that start that you did for us. Anyway, everything's smooth, getting a lot of things done. You'll see an old fire engine go up next to the splash pad down there, and then we're doing some repair work. Police been doing a nice job of helping us out, kind of patrolling the parks, and our out-of-town guests do appreciate their presence there. So I just want to pass that along.
Thank you, John. Any questions from the board? Anything from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up, Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Thank you, and good evening, board members. Engineering report for tonight, just a few housekeeping items on downtown. As we're wrapping that up, we've finally been working with our lighting suppliers and got our issues resolved with the lights on 39 and Meridian. So happy to report those should be coming on here real shortly. There'll still be some decorative elements that will need to be added in a couple of weeks, but the lights will be fully hooked up and installed here in a matter of days. I want to thank our partners at Lebanon Utilities for help getting the power on those and helping us work with our suppliers. So they've been great, and I really appreciate all their help. We walked the site again last week, again to verify a few drainage concerns that we have on some of our curbs that are holding a little bit of water. as well as to re-review our landscape warranty items. There's still a few landscape items that remain outstanding. They're waiting for the contractors to continue to wrap those things up, as well as I said, some curb drainage issues that will be ongoing in the coming days. Some of that is at the intersection of 32 and Meridian. As luck would have it, the state contractor for the 32 resurfacing project is the same subcontractor that did our curbs. So as they come through there with the state project, they're going to take care of some poorly draining curbs. And that should wrap things up. Indianapolis Avenue Phase 2, we're down to really just sodding and final cleanup. The sod preparations were made last week, and they're scheduled to be here tomorrow to lay the remaining pieces of sod. And then that really wraps up that project, with the exception of some construction materials that are left over on site. Some from our project, but a lot of it are from the water main projects that happened before the road project. So we're trying to get with the right contractors and make sure all those are cleaned up, and that should be happening in the next couple of days as well. Pavement resurfacing projects, our community crossing programs, wrapping up probably in the next 2 weeks. We'll finish up all of our casting adjustments, and that will complete the project. Striping contractors are also scheduled to be here next week to start all of our striping, and then we'll move towards filing our final reports with NDOT and wrapping those things up. Still, as I said last time, we're projected to be about $450,000 under budget. So some of the money we got from NDOT will have to go back to NDOT. It's just the way that those projects run. But we will still be money ahead and have extra money to go into our street programs, street department programs for the rest of the year. State Road 32 resurfacing is progressing basically as I described at the last meeting. We should see them start doing some asphalt milling and resurfacing kind of between Patterson and to the west of Patterson, excuse me. They're also will continue with their deep patching through the entire length of the project, and then they're scheduled to be doing asphalt surfacing west of Patterson in the coming 2 weeks, and then they'll continue to move east, and the remaining segments of the project are not scheduled for milling and resurfacing until late August. But that work continues. The asphalt deep patching, as I said, continues. The sidewalk ramp replacements are also continuing, so a lot going on there. We've had some interesting discoveries last week with some unusual railroad ties buried in the road. We had a similar discovery on our downtown project, but this is NDOT's project, and they're working through their archaeological department to determine if anything needs to be done further there. We don't show any records that there was ever a railroad running down 32. We know there was one time running up 39, the old interurban lines, but no historical references to anything on 32 other than where we know it crossed going northwest out of town on what is the current Big 4 corridor. Sidewalk replacement programs, nothing to report. We're still about 10 applications, over $40,000 of sidewalk replacements in our cost share program. Most of the trees came down last week, and we're expecting sidewalk construction and demolition to start in the coming days. We're wrapping up our work on the Lafayette Avenue, Witt Road, Riley Road, sidewalk programs that are going in out there. We should be making final offers and putting those final agreements in place for the right-of-way dedications to be able to get those sidewalks in place this summer as well. I think we're close there with all of our property owners, just working through the last details on negotiations there. Witt Road Bridge, happy to report our preliminary plans should be in our hands sometime this week, which we will then move into utility coordination. We will immediately get those out to have a utility meeting and a preliminary field check sometime in mid-July. This is all getting us ready to bid the construction sometime in late this year, fourth quarter this year for 2021 construction. We also are well in our process of coordinating with the county on the future takeover of that, as well as working with the state to make sure that we can submit that project for community crossings when they do open up in July. And on that note, good news, we do now know that they are going to have a July community crossing program. So we're ahead of the game there, and so we plan to submit that in July as well. Again, 2021 construction. Grant Street, we opened bids last time. We will be making the bid award recommendation here later tonight. Fordyce Road or Fordyce Street, we're coordinating the final drainage design and those issues with Grant Street. We do now have a Fordyce Road engineering study in hand. It's in draft format, but we are currently reviewing that, and we'll be hopefully be able to publish that here in the coming weeks. The Stone Eater Bike Park. One new thing to note is that we have now received federal support from the federally recognized tribe that includes the Wea tribe, where Chief Stone Eater was a chief. So they have voiced their support. We're working with them on the dedications of the park, as well as history pieces about Chief Stone Eater as well, to be displayed at the park. We've also been hard at work. I have to thank Mr. LePage for all of his great video production work. We've been putting together, we're putting together a series of videos, but we got the first introductory video that we would like to play for you tonight. It's kind of in draft form, so we may be tweaking it, but we have this draft video I'd like to share with you now.
Coming soon to Lebanon, Indiana, Stone Eater Bike Park. The 110-acre bike park and destination trail system is designed from the ground up for progressive-based riding and riders of all ages, skills, and abilities. Come ride, come race, come explore. Centrally located in Lebanon, Indiana, and just miles outside of Indianapolis, the Stone Eater Bike Park is designed as a destination riding area for more than 6 million riders in the surrounding region, featuring 5 miles of fast-flowing cross-country trails with berm turns and rolling terrain built around a world-class racing venue as a model for NICA, the National Interscholastic Cycling Association, and the Indiana Interscholastic Cycling League. Come ride, come race, come explore. And for riders looking for new terrain, a progressive jump park, pump track, skills park, and kids area, providing a full spectrum of riding experiences and fun for the whole family. Get involved today, volunteer, donate, or become a sponsor, and look for more information on the city's website. Come ride, come race, come explore. Stone Eater Bike Park, Lebanon, Indiana.
Thank you. Again, appreciate you indulging me to show you that video. Again, thank you to Joe for all the work he did helping to put that together. I also need to thank Nat Lopes with Hill Ride. It's our bike park designer, world-class designer. He's put a lot of effort into pulling this video together, and so we're pretty pleased with it. We'll use this video to start doing more promotional pieces, to start doing more fundraising, and we'll keep you posted as those things progress. Moving on to a couple other things before I step off. Regional detention facilities. We are still working with Christopher Burke on land acquisition agreements, working with Mr. Shine and Craig Duvall on those agreements as well. We hope to start putting those out to property owners here in the coming days and beginning to take the next step forward for the upper detention pond. The lower middle detention pond, we kind of put that work on hold just now because we've got a potential lead in the business park that if it does come to fruition, will somewhat change the geometry of our detention pond system, but will also facilitate the construction of it. So we're excited about that. We're just pausing until we know exactly what's going to happen with that lead, which should come to fruition in the next couple of weeks. No further updates on any of our development projects, with the exception of Moe's Southwest Grill, planning to open this Thursday. So go check that out in the Lebanon Gateway Marketplace as they open for business. I just would encourage everyone to support them. Our road impact study, last time we met, full funding of City Council was approved later that evening, and we are moving forward with the data analysis at this time. And again, more to report as we go later into the year. But with that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin?
I got two questions, Kevin. One, and you and Dave both, or maybe the mayor too, has probably already contacted NDOT, but there is at least 2 dead trees on State Road 39 that really need to come down.
Okay.
One's north and one is south. One south is down there by the church. I think it's what, Walnut Street or Green Street or something right down there. It's along the road there. That big tree there is, it's just dead on the doornail, needs to come down.
It's the Otterbein Methodist Church.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it is.
yeah. That one needs to really come down.
Okay.
It's going to end up the road, and we're going to get a phone call, you know. Another one is it's down there just north of Trips Avenue on the west side. There's one right there too it's dying pretty bad.
Okay.
You might check on that. The other question I got is, have you guys considered raising the manholes there on Main Street, like we have on the other projects we've done so far?
We are, not all of them, but there's about 15 manholes on West Main Street
Yeah.
that are going to be adjusted, and we're going to adjust them with the same procedure as we've
Sure.
been adjusting our
Okay.
resurfacing project.
I was just wondering about that, because I
Yep.
got through there the other day, and I thought, we ought to do these if we're doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Yep, we'll take care of
Thank
that
you.
here in the coming days.
that's all I got.
Okay. Anything else from the board? Anything from the public? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Kevin.
Next, Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. Planning Department activity remains strong and has been ever since we've come back in the office a few weeks ago. We're still completing about 4 to 5 inspections a day, so still remain very busy there. And we did issue 45 new building permits over the last couple of weeks, including 2 new residential permits. So again, we've been very pleased to see that residential activity has remained strong. A lot of demand in this area for new housing. On the code enforcement side, again, we're still kind of ramping back up after being out of the office. McKay spent a lot of time on grass and weed complaints over the last few weeks, just finally getting caught up on a lot of those. And we're starting to address a lot of trash and debris and other things that happen over the summer as everybody gets outside a lot more. So a lot of activity on code enforcement. She's getting a lot of contacts from members of the community, but please keep calling. If you see anything you're concerned about, please call our office, get online. We'll take your issues and concerns and make sure we get those addressed for you. We are still accepting applications for our 2 positions in the planning office. I will be contacting folks that have already applied here shortly to set up interviews now that we're opening up our office back up. So we'll be doing that towards the end of this month and early July. So that's all I've got.
Thank you, Ben. Anything from the board? Anything from the public? Okay. Thank you, sir. Next up, Street and Stormwater Department, Dave Newell.
How's it going? I remember this one. Let's see, we're doing a lot of drain repairs. You might have seen them over, we did a couple on Witt Road, which caused different issues, but we knew that was going to happen, so we got to do some adjustment there. Guys have been on Garfield doing a couple across from the old Tombstone place. We ran into those last flood. We found out that one was really bad, so they're staying very busy with that, ongoing, never ending, but we're getting them. We have implemented a new policy, kind of proved it with the mayor, me and him talked about it, but the brush truck, it's only going to go out the second week of every month, unless we have a major storm. That changes the ball game, but we've had it out since we've been back. We stopped 1 week to mow, and it just got out of hand. I mean, so that's the new policy. Hopefully the public can handle it. If not, I guess they'll adjust to it, but that's kind of what we got to do. If not, we just can't get nothing else done. So it helps us and also helps them. It'll give them a chance to know when we're going to be out instead of having to worry about when we're coming out and kill their yard and all that. But there won't be a certain day we'll follow because the rain could change that if it rains, you know. So it'll just be all hands on deck the second week of every month. All the guys are going to go in. We're going to stop everything else, make sure that week's dedicated to brush. So hopefully that clears that up a little bit for everybody. We've had the sweeper out as much as possible. It ain't been out a lot this week because, like I said, we were trying to catch up on some mowing and start stuff that we have to get done as well. That being said, we have been pretty busy mowing. We mowed a lot of our easements that we always mow, and then we did get a vacant lot for some high code enforcement brush. We mowed that. We're starting to put out our new tiger signs. We called in line locates. I called those in Friday, so it should be good tomorrow, and we'll start working that through and get a bunch of those up. The area we're at this year is going to be Camp Street, Northfield. We're working our way around since we
So the new street signs for those?
Yeah, we already ordered them. We got them. We saved some of our budget. We ordered like half of our budget, and so at the end of the year, so we have stuff for repairs at the end of the year, we'll be able to just, if we got more money, just order more and keep going.
Great.
That's the plan with the street signs. Well, I know we were following the paving routes, but with the stuff being so delayed on getting our answer from, if we got the money, we just kind of picked an area so we could keep going, and it takes them a while to get the signs, so. We have been pretty busy. You can probably see it around, especially Meridian East and all that, is painting our hydrants and our intersections. So we're doing 20 feet at each intersection and 10 feet on each side of a hydrant. So hopefully people stop parking there, and hopefully get a lot of better view on our intersections. It's pretty bad in areas, so this should help that. That should help a lot. Let's see what we got out. Myself and the mayor had a meeting with Enterprise to keep our fleet updated, so we did that, Friday or Thursday, I believe it was, so nothing's in stone, obviously. We looked at 4 trucks. Just keep in mind one of those is a stormwater truck, so that would only really be 3 for the street side, but just trying to keep our fleet up to date, and so we can rotate instead of having every truck do it at the same time. If we did end up doing this next 2021, that'll only leave us 3 trucks that the city actually owns in our fleet. So we're all getting all caught up, and really knocks down the maintenance for us a lot. I mean, it's knocked down so much I need to address the oil budget because we just don't go through it like we do. But Kevin touched on it too. Accurate striping is supposed to be here at the end of the month, end of June, I guess I'd say. They're just running so far behind like everybody else. You know, getting used to the new normal. They got caught up, and I think they were closed down a little bit and getting their people together. Kevin touched also, we have 11 trees that were being removed right now. 5 of those are just dead trees. The rest are for Derek's sidewalk program. So we got a contractor pretty busy at that. We try to sub that out since it's that's a little bit more than we can do. At least keeping cars and houses safe. That's out of our hands. That's about all we got.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave from the board?
Hey, Dave, talking
Yes.
about the brush and the limbs and sticks and et cetera, the city can also drop off at the street department, is that right?
Yeah, and I meant to mention
So-
that too, and Green
Yeah.
Cycle takes it for free.
And Green Cycle
Yeah.
will also take them,
We-
and that's free as long
Yeah,
as you take it.
if they're gonna load it in their truck, we prefer them to take it to Green Cycle, really, because it costs the city money for us to get rid of it at the shop.
Right. But those are
but if
2
they-
other options.
Yeah, but if
that
they
you
have to
would
bring it there, that's no problem, we'll make do. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from the board? Anything from the public? Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Communications, Community Development, Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. It is official, thanks to DevLab Creative and Chad Purdue, the city staff is now taking over operation and the posting of content on the city's website, on the World Wide Web, lebanon.in.gov, so we can be potentially more responsive to the needs of the department. And so we've been going through, kind of combing through and fine-tuning a lot of what is on the internet for the city's website at this time, while also listening to the respective departments and different needs that they have. And Chad really helped us out finding a template that's pretty customizable, so we can move things around even for someone that's not exactly a web designer. And so many thanks to Chad. And so we look forward to continuing our relationship with DevLab Creative in some capacity, helping out kind of as a safety net for anyone that may make a mistake where a professional is needed. We look forward to continue work with Chad over the years. Also, an agreement is in place, and so we are going to move forward with Indianapolis Sign Works on the overpass at I-65. We got our agreement with NDOT, and so we've showed the pictures a couple different times, but the overpass there on the Big Four Trail will be getting a beautiful mural that has the large locomotive kind of bringing some vibrancy and some color under the overpass, and that has been tagged with gang symbols and other inappropriate symbols as well, and words. And so Signworks is chomping at the bit to get going. And so the work will begin in the not too distant future. They'll start with cleaning the wall, they'll obviously be painting it, treatment of it as well. Security measures will be adhered to also moving forward with that mural. Speaking of murals in our community, we've had quite a bit of correspondence with our area artists that did the tiger statues that will be distributed to the respective departments and throughout the community, talking about what to do with our CSX, the railroad overpass. And so we've applied for and we're granted the use of 5 overpasses. And so resounding response from our artists that the first one will be on Hoy Avenue near Harney Elementary. And so it'll have kind of an interactive and adventure / Mario Brothers theme. And so kids walking to school or pedestrians in general can really kind of feel themselves interacting quite well with the mural that's there taking place with that. And so kudos to Kevin also in engineering, kind of also asking CSX to take a look at the structural integrity of some of those overpasses as well, kind of piggybacking on the $13,000 that the city paid to take a look at the safety of the bridges for the artists and the conductors. Kevin's piggybacking on police reports and impact to those bridges and how we can maybe dress those up before we paint them for the public. And so that'll be going on here in the not too distant future. And finally, with one more mural note for you, working with the Lebanon Youth Council on their mural projects, making some edits, taking a closer look. The Youth Council met with Derek Warren, also Casey Sampson with Historic Preservation, getting some different direction with the placement of the mural and maybe a better fit. And so to make a long story short, members of the Youth Council will be on the agenda for the Parks Board meeting on July 1st, potentially adding that mural in Memorial Park on the former, was it kind of a shelter concession stand?
Yeah, just a shelter.
Okay, the shelter that's there now, and so if the park board agrees to have it there, could potentially go there. And so working with the Youth Council on that and helping them with their presentation for those respective folks that they'll be going for in early July.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? Anything from the public? Okay, thank you, Joe. All right, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. First item up is the request for the alley closure at 308 North Park Street. Alex Cruz. And Alex, you were here last time, and I think we gave you some homework to talk to some neighbors.
Yep.
And turn it back over to you to give a quick synopsis again, and then explain where we are.
Can do. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for letting me meet with you to talk about this again. Last time, what if I do that? Last time I was given the task, of course, to try to give my neighbors some notice. This is the front of the notice that I gave. I'll point out on the map on the back here in just a minute. But that was the notice I gave to all of my immediate neighbors that would be using the alley most likely, and told them that they could come to the meeting tonight if they had any issues. Is everybody okay with me
Yep.
moving this?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So that's the back side of the notice letter, basically just saying that, again, I was asking for the closure from just on the north side of my garage, right there, to the street, North Park Street. I gave a written notice to to all the following buildings, this one, this one, this one, this one. That one's vacant. This one, this one, this one, and this one. I actually spoke with the neighbors at this house right here, this house, and then the barber styling salon that was there. I spoke with one of the ladies there. and spoke with one of the residents at this house, duplex. My wife, of course, talked with, I think, the owner of that house, but there's no one living in it actually. But all of them were given at least a written notice, and everyone that I did talk to kind of said, yeah, go ahead, thumbs up. So
great.
that was what I did for giving them notice. And again, my general request is just that I be able to close probably less than 100 feet of the alley right there next to my house as soon as possible to, I think it was August 15th, my contractor said he could have a bulk of the work done that I need to get done. They actually did start demolition today. They got the permit, they started demolition. They had a lot of vehicles, and even with the alley closed, there's still going to be a lot of people going in and out of there. So it'd be a big help if I could potentially have partial closure.
Sure. Any questions from the board for Alex? Okay.
Just one question. I know this is a temporary closure for the construction and all the work that's being done, but do you have a timeline on what you're thinking about here in terms of that?
Of what?
Of how long it'd have to be closed, a temporary closure?
Well, I mean, so one idea, I mean, theoretically, the entire time between now and August 15. I know that may not be very feasible, but, you know, if they got a dumpster there, I don't think they're going to be able to move that daily. I don't know if the city has barricades that are, I know that you guys got the temporary barricades that you use for like on the Mischief on Meridian or the Rotary 5K that goes on. I don't know if a couple barricades could be borrowed, and when it's actually closed, we could put those up and then easily move them when it could be opened up temporarily or back up to the public. So happy to make as much effort to minimize the actual closure, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
Is that kind of, I guess, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so August 15th is your timeline?
Yeah.
When it'll be complete, so.
It'll start now and then till August the 15th.
Yeah, they started demolition today.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Are any of Alex's neighbors here? Public comment concerns? Okay. Fred, I don't think I have any concern. I think you appreciate all the legwork you did, getting some consensus from your neighbors and support. That's always easier for us to approve something like that when you've let your neighbors know. So, with that, would entertain a motion to approve the alley closure request from now until August 15th for Mr. Cruz?
I make a motion, we approve the alley closure at 308 North Park Street from now until August the 15th.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, alley closure is approved. Good luck on your project.
Thank you very much. Do I need to get with your staff to get a permit or anything, or just?
There's, nope, you're good. You're good to go. Well, actually, Kevin may have some thoughts, actually.
There is a permit we would require,
Okay.
just a work within the right-of-way permit. We've already been talking with our demolition contractor. They're aware of that process. They've obtained those permits on other projects throughout the city, so.
Okay.
I think we're good, but yeah, that's all we would ask, is there be a right-of-way permit. Yeah, get with our office. Christie in our office can coordinate all that.
And actually, Dave, if you're still here too, it may not be a bad idea if they had some guys take some barricades down for him, if we're going to have a longer closure for that. So, great, thanks. Thank you, Alex. All right, next up is bid award for the Grant Street project, Williams Street Sewer Outlet.
Thank you. When we were before this board on the 8th, you may remember we opened bids for the Williams Street Storm Sewer Outlet associated with the Grant Street project. 5 bids were received that were all opened, and the bids ranged from $108,643.50 to $218,000. All those bid packages have been reviewed, and particularly the lowest bid, which was from J.R. Bowling for $108,643, was reviewed with great detail by Butler, Fairman, and Seifert, our consultants on the project. The bid documents were found to be complete, and and they were the lowest bidder. So at this time, in accordance with the recommendations sent to us by the consultants, we have determined J.R. Bowling to be the sorry, the terminology, I don't know why it's escaping me right now, the
Lowest, most responsive, and responsible.
most responsive is the term I was looking for, thank you. You'd think I'd never done this before, but yeah, our lowest and most responsive bidder was J.R. Bowling at $108,643.50. At this time, we would be asking for your recommendation to issue a notice of award authorizing the mayor to execute contracts for the completion of that work.
Any questions for Kevin from the board? Any public comment? Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion concerning the bid award, or the bid from J.R. Bowling.
I'll make a motion, we approve the acceptance of the bid from J.R. Bowling in the amount of $108,643.50 for the William Street Storm Sewer Project, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
We have motions. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. I think it was Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is awarded to J.R. Bowling. Thank you, Kevin. All right, that concludes what I have for old business. Anything from the board? Okay, moving on new business now. Next up is the request for street closure, Heart of Lebanon events. Missy Krulik.
Good evening, Board. Missy Krulik with the Heart of Lebanon. An event came about as a suggestion that we saw on Facebook. The public wanted a car cruise-in. So I contacted a few people, and I had Keith and Amanda Hockenberry step up and said, yeah, that's something we really like to do. So the Heart of Lebanon is helping to support them on that. They've planned it for July 10th, which is a Friday night, on the courthouse square. We are asking tonight for closure of Meridian Street underneath the lights from Washington to Main Street. The event is running from 6 to 8:30 p.m., so we're asking for street closure from 5:30 to 9 p.m. The Heart of Lebanon is supplying a band for that night. We thought it might be nice to have the old classic cars coming up and parking and joining in community to maybe have a band. So we're supplying a band for that night for them. The Paul Holdman Trio is going to be there, so that should be really great. So yeah, we're just asking for that street closure for that event.
And it's just that one, or yeah, just one block of Meridian there?
Mm-hmm, just directly under the lights, yep.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Okay. Would entertain a motion then to approve the street closure request for the, does this have a name or is it just a?
The Lebanon Courthouse Car Cruise-In. So.
The Lebanon Courthouse Car Cruise-In, okay. Happening on July 10th on Meridian Street between Washington and Main from 5:30 to 9 p.m.
I would make a motion to approve that request.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that street closure is request. Now, the cars are going to be stationary, right? We're not going to have the cruising back in the 50s. That's
right.
Right, just, okay.
From what I'm told, they just come in, they park and sit out their lawn chair and just enjoy each other's classic cars, so.
Fair enough. Okay, I think I read an old ordinance, we prohibited cruising or something like that back in the day.
What
so.
happens if you have more cars than block? That's my question, I guess.
Well, we'll kind of see how it goes. I'm sure we have, well, they won't just be in that Meridian Street area.
Okay.
They'll be parked around the courthouse. We wanted a space for, I'm told that families come to these things. They bring their cars and their families, so we wanted an area that was closed for the kids, just to make sure that families were safe.
Gotcha. Very good. Should be a great event. Appreciate you working on that. Okay, that concludes what I have for new business. Anything from the board? Okay.
Mayor, we got two guests.
I did notice that.
I don't know if they're
Any,
here for business or?
anything we can help you with, or? Just here, okay. Any public comment or discussion from the board? Okay. At this time then, I would move on to our claims and would entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims are approved. Any announcements or discussion from the board? Okay. Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Our next Board of Works meeting will be July 13th at 5:30 PM. And there is no city council meeting tonight, so everyone, enjoy your week.